Hey folks, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at this knife. This is the Kershaw Fraxion. And is it a fraction of a knife? Yeah, I know, it's spelled differently than the word fraction that's used in math, but I don't know. How much of a knife is this? Is it, 4/4 of a knife? Is it 3/4 of a knife? You be the judge. I'll tell you what I think, though. We've got a budget knife here. And we've got a very lightweight knife here. And I generally, at least in the last decade or so, I've disliked Kershaw. They've got the odd knife that I like, but for the most part, a lot of their knives, I just dislike them. This one's getting a little bit of hype these days. Well, it has been for the last little while. It's been around for a while. You can get it in a satin blade or a black wash blade and about 4 or 5 different handle options as well. So if you're interested in a smaller, it's a sub 3-inch knife that is a flipper actuated and budget, then you might be interested in this. So stick around. The review's coming at you right now. I'm still fighting with my camera with how it does adjusting of light. See, look at this background color. And now I take my hands away and it changes. It's darker now, right? And now it gets lighter. So it's adjusting with light somehow. I'm trying to figure out that setting. I still haven't got it yet. So what can I tell you? This here is an OD green with a carbon fiber laminate on top. So I think on my screen here, the green is coming out pretty good. It's a little more pale and less deep green, if my color representations are right. But it's your typical OD green that a lot of G10 knives, knife handles are. And of course, the black carbon fiber laminate on both sides. It's a liner lock knife. There's no liner on the one side. That helps it to save weight. And there's just the liner on the lock side. There's nothing wrong with that for saving weight because G10 is a tough material. It can handle it no problem. I've had over a dozen knives that are built in that same way, so that's not a problem at all. The lockup is quite good. It locks up exactly, well, very close to where I want a knife to be. It still has room to wear across. It's a little later than perfect. Perfect would be just slightly up. That would be perfect if it focuses for us. There you go. That would be a perfect lockup, but what we get is that, which is a little bit later, a little closer to this side than it is to lining up perfectly with that edge. You can open and close this knife very many times before that'll wear over. We've got a drop point blade, some jimping up here on the top edge, and then it drops. It could be called a clip point because there is a transition that's a little more abrupt than a drop point right there. And this is a flat edge. So yeah, I'm going to call it a clip point. That's a better name for it. We've got a hollow grind, which I like. The tip is, it's starting to thin out at that transition point. So from here forward, the blade's thinning out. So it's not a super strong tip. 8CR13 MOV stainless steel, which is a good budget steel in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of experienced people. It certainly is not a premium steel, but this is not a premium priced knife either. Yes, it's made in China. It says China right there in really tiny letters, just above where it says 8CR13. This is a Jens Anso designed knife. 1160 is the number, and this one's OL for, I don't know what the O or the L stands for. O might be OD green. I don't know. L might be, satin. Who knows? The guys at Kershaw might know. There's your name, Kershaw. So there's not an awful lot of writing on the knife, but a little bit more than I like. Brushed satin finish, so the brushing comes down across this way. We've got a under 3-inch blade here. I'll give you all the sizes in a little while. One thing about this is there's no lanyard hole. I guess you could tie off of one of these pivots. Spacers here. Open pillar construction. And yeah, that's the general about it. Pocket clip is right or left, but I did just finish telling you there's no liner on this side, right? I'll talk more about that in a minute with the pocket clip. The pocket clip is very functional, but it's not a deep carry pocket clip. Your pants end up actually down here, and so there's about 1 inch, almost 2.5 centimeters sticking out of your pocket, but it's not very big. So Well, actually, let's finish the topic of the pocket clip right now. How does it look in a pocket? Well, let's do that next. So putting it in the pocket, it comes up over the edge of the pocket very well because of the way this is designed here. It comes up over it very well, comes down, and there you go. And that's almost an inch sticking out. 2.3 centimeters really, so almost just under an inch. Not a big deal, and with the bumps here from the screws, it's easy to grab and pull out. And it's fairly small, fairly well hidden, although I probably would have liked an fold over deep carry pocket clip better. The thing that I don't like about the pocket clip is you've got screws here for the left-handers. I'm really glad to see that there's a left-hand option, but you're screwing into G10. Well, I just finished saying G10's durable. Yeah, it is, but it's not as good as steel. I wish they would have put a little plate in there, from the inside, just a little metal plate so you could screw into metal when you're putting the pocket clip over here. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. Here, let me show you the pictures of the knife taken apart. And now let me show you the close-up picture of this zone, but the inside edge. So you see there, it's slightly different color on the inside there. So they did put another material in there. I don't know what that material is, so I can't judge it too harshly, but I still would have preferred metal back in there. We've got ball bearing construction in here, KVT ball bearings, and detent is strong. If you're trying to do a push method and push straight down, a push button method, yeah, then it's really hard to get it to go. But the jimping's on the front here, and it's meant to be pulled back. And if you pull back, at least on my sample, it opens up very well. The detent is actually almost exactly what I like a detent to be. The access to the liner lock release is quite good. They cut away enough G10 there that I didn't have any misses where I was trying to get to the lock release. It just made it each time no problem. Now, see, I do sometimes slip over that. It's not that the detent's too strong. I wish this flipper tab came up just a tiny bit more. If it came up another 1/16 of an inch, it would make it that much easier to get it every single time and activate it. So we've got 8CR13 MOV steel. Rockwell hardness on that is usually around 57, 58. And so I'm assuming that that's the Rockwell they put on here. G10 with carbon fiber laminate, good stuff. Satin finish, steel ball bearings, and pocket clip that's right and left. Lockup is good. There was no blade play side to side or up and down when I got mine, and there still isn't. Comfortable in the hand. The jimping on the flat here it's not really a riser, but on the back of the blade, that can hold very well. You can put your finger up in here and hold it a little more closely if you want to. Not super comfortable because you just have one narrow piece of steel sticking out. There are some flaws to it, but before I get to those things, let's go over all of the dimensions and all that other good stuff. So once this disappears, that means I'm done talking about the dimensions. Okay, the weight of this knife, 57 grams, 2 ounces on the nose. The factory sharpness, I got 200. That's not sharp. It's not dull either. It's right in the middle. For factory sharpness, it's not terrible. The cutting edge length is 7.15 centimeters, 2.81 inches. The blade length is actually the same from the tip to the closest spot on the G10. The blade thickness is 2.73 millimeters, which is 0.1075 inches. The blade depth, this measurement here, 2.03 centimeters, 0.8 of an inch. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, 0.43 millimeters, which is 0.018 inches. So that's a good thinness behind the edge. I like that. The grind angle, let me double check which side. This side here is ground at 22.2 degrees. And this side here is ground at 15.6 degrees, but that's variable. It depends on where you're looking at the knife. I generally measure about an inch down from the sharpener's choil and measure there. Right there at the sharpener's choil. because the sharpener's choil is too far back, it should be coming forward. Where my fingernail ends, that's where the sharpener's choil should end. So all that space between my fingernail right there and this choil, that should all be removed. It's just not sharpened well. Okay, let's keep talking about the knife. Handle length 10.22 centimeters, that's 4.02 inches. The grip area, so right in here, is about 8 centimeters, 3.15 inches. The handle thickness is 1.02 centimeters, not counting the pocket clip, 0.4 of an inch. The handle depth is biggest right there, and that is 2.24 centimeters, 0.88 of an inch. And when the knife is closed, the depth of the knife, same spot here, 2.64 centimeters, 1.04 inches. And the total length of the knife with the blade deployed, tip to the very end, 17.5 centimeters, 6.89 inches. So it's just under a 7-inch knife, and it's a nice, small, light knife. I like it quite well. It's not great, but it's okay. I can fix these things myself. I don't know how many people can fix that sharpener's choil and make it bigger or make it come forward. But I've done a little bit of a video. I think I did a video on how I made my sharpener's choil bigger. Basically using a Dremel-like tool and grinding some away there, making sure the blade doesn't get hot, doing it in small steps. So how much does this knife cost? At White Mountain Knives, there are different models that have different prices, but they start at $25.99, and they go up from there depending on which options you're getting. At White Mountain Knives, you get 10% off when you check out with coupon code CCE for Canadian Cutting Edge. I've also got links down below for White Mountain Knives and for Amazon. Amazon's got the knives for, well, the same price except for there's no discount. So it's still more expensive than White Mountain Knives. But if you want to buy them from Amazon, my link for Amazon is a referral link, and it's a great way for you to help the channel. The unique features on this. Well, it's unique that there's no lanyard option at all. Most knives this size have one. I'm not sure if the pocket clip is a pro or a con the way it is. It's a pro in the sense that it's real easy to pull and get out of the pocket, but it's a con if you want a really deep carry pocket clip. I haven't measured it to see if other fold-over pocket clips will fit in here, but I think that you might be able to find some on the market somewhere that fit these holes, but I can't guarantee that, of course. The lightweight is a big pro, and Bandit's all antsy, so let's pause for a second. I'm not sure exactly what I was talking about. Hollow grind, I think, is a plus. I do like hollow grind quite a bit. It means you can sharpen it a number of times before it starts getting quite a bit thicker behind the grind, and the thickness behind the grind is done very, very well, and it's pretty consistent throughout. It keeps the same thickness along the length of the blade. That's another pro. The clip point, I like that. It's okay for precision work because of how pointy it is. The lock pin, it doesn't pivot. It's not a free spinning pivot, so that's good. You only have to unscrew it on one side. This side doesn't spin. Whoa, we're off the screen. This side doesn't spin, so you undo the screw right there, and it's easy to take it apart, so it's easy to do maintenance. That's a good thing. Let's unzoom this just a little bit here. So those are good things. The recessed liner, I like that. I've mentioned that in previous videos. You can see the liner inside there, but it's G10 on the edge here instead of seeing steel. That's just a cosmetic thing. It's just fine. I like that. Many various grips work with this. Here's a nice grip for doing more delicate work. Fist grip works. Pinch grip up here, that works quite well. Reverse grip, because you've got the angle back there. It's a good knife. Now, my hands are between 10 and 11 in European sizes, between large and extra large in North American sizes. So that tells you something about how, compare your hand size with mine, and you can decide how big this thing might be in your hand. Then what are the cons? Well, the con number one is this section of the knife right here that I showed you before. Where the sharpener's choil is, the sharpener's choil just is, it's in the wrong spot. It should be moved down the blade about 1/8 of an inch at least, maybe 3/16 of an inch, towards the cutting edge, because you get this really odd thing right there. I'll give you another close-up shot of that. And it should be nice and smooth and not have this section of steel that's coming out further than the rest. Not very good. It makes it ugly when you go to sharpen it, and it's just poorly executed in my mind. The second con, if you're a lefty, and I already talked about it before, is that there's no metal in here for the pocket clip to screw into. I really wish there was, and I've talked about that enough. This is a light knife, being 2 ounces. What is that? 57 grams, like I said before. It's under 3 inches, so if you're in a jurisdiction where you can carry locking knives that are under 3 inches, this might be a good choice for you, because there aren't an awful lot of knives that are being made these days that are under 3 inches that are well made. And this thing's well enough made for the price that you're going to have to pay. For $26 US, I think this knife is okay. It's a reasonable buy for that price. I'd like the major flaw here to be fixed, but I still recommend this knife. I would change a couple things if I was the designer, but overall, it's a decent knife. It looks cool, the swedge up here at the top, Anso design, it's designed well. It's the manufacturing where there's, a little bit that I don't like that awful much. So if you're in the market for one of these knives and you want to get one, please consider using my links down below. And that way you can help the person who helped you, develop your opinion about the knife. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.